Alright, let's talk about Village Farms International. This is a Canadian company. They used to produce crops back all the way up until 2017 when they also went into recreational marijuana space growing cannabis. So they're growing a bit of everything, and as you can see, once they entered that space, stock price got a bit of a boost. It's been a lot of volatility since then, up and down, and right now they're down again as the rest of the sector. This is a 139 million market cap company, so this is in US dollars. That's not a very big company, it's a very, very small company, and we can take a look at some of the numbers here to see what do you get for your bucks in this case. Is there bang for your buck? Remember, almost 140 millions in market cap, and if we take a look at revenues, we can see almost 300 here million American dollars for the full year of 2023. So if price to sales is so good in terms of the valuation to sales, how come the company is hurting? That's an indicator regarding profitability. So we can take a quick look at earnings per share in that case. And indeed, we can see in terms of earnings per share that the company is not doing so hot. It used to have a small profitability here some years, 2017. And then we also saw 2018 here with a loss once again, and then profitable 2019, profitable 2020. And then ever since then they've been losing money. So a loss of 11 cents per share in 2021. $1.13 in 2022, and then about 30 cents a share in 2023. This can be misguiding in terms of total numbers, in terms of losses or profit. It depends on the dilution that the company does. So we will take a quick look here at shares outstanding. And we can see that yes, indeed, it's like the other cannabis producers in Canada. They are diluting the shares by quite a bit. We can see here in terms of millions of shares outstanding, we saw 40 million shares in 2017. And then here for the full year of 2023, they ended with 109 million shares. So if we look at the old stock price here, it's going to be more and more difficult to get these high numbers in terms of share price when the number of shares outstanding is so much larger, because a lot of shares, if they go up a lot, well, all of a sudden it's a very, very big company, and then they have to justify that valuation. And in that case, we can't see negative revenue growth as we've seen here recently, and this lack of profitability that Village Farms has had. Positive news though. No further dilution here on a quarterly basis. Even seems to have been a slight buyback here from one quarter to another if we take a look at the macro trends information here. Let's take a quick look once again at revenue and see what's been going on with the revenue growth. Alright, so it used to grow here back in 2020, 2022 a bit. And we also remember from the graph that that's when we saw higher numbers. It's easier to justify a higher stock price when we see a lot of growth. But now we're not seeing growth and we're not seeing profitability. Just slight uptick here in growth for the recent quarter. But this is indeed an issue, and I don't really know what's going on here when I'm looking at this. It almost seems like a cyclical, but it's a producer. So what's going on? And we also know that with this crisis of living, we've seen prices of the consumer goods, food in the store go up a lot, and prices on everything going up a lot. And that has really boosted profitability for a lot of companies, but not in the case of Village Farms. They've not been able to ride this greedflation wave that we've seen. And a lot of the grocery stores have seen a lot of profits here. And I think if we speculate here on this stock, that's one of the points that they're lacking: the direct contact to consumers, the ability to push more marijuana, to push more weed in this case, and just be able to have access to the consumer in a whole different way that other sectors have, and that we know that this sector struggles with, this whole medical setup where you have to be a member of a certain club to buy it, or just these very, very few stores for recreational use, and then there's not enough to just take in all the demand, and then we see demand in the black market still. The black market's not going away anytime soon. And with the lack of advertising, we also have the problem here for Village Farms that, alright, how can we build up a brand? How can we build up the next Marlboro if we're not allowed to advertise and if we have this lack of connection with the consumer? So these are problems plaguing this industry, and together with the heavy regulation, it's going to be an issue to grow, and it's going to be an issue to be profitable, and it's going to be an issue to build up proper banking connections and all of this stuff as we've seen in the United States. And it's just going to be a struggle for this industry, I think. And I think that it's very likely that we will continue to see below market returns. If we take a look at the on-year basis, we can see that they performed extremely well. We saw the uptick in profitability for the company, and then we also saw legalization here earlier. I talked a bit about it, how there's more speculation in this. There's on the ballot in Florida, I know. And then we see these companies jump, and I've been following this industry for a very, very long time, and always when we see these jumps on legalization, it's just minting new bag holders that you buy on the rumor, and then when it actually happens, it's a sell-off, and we don't see the numbers to really back the euphoria in this case. This company, I think that it's very, very risky. Of course, I think that there's a place in need for recreational cannabis in today's society. I think that as people get more and more disillusioned with the employment they have and the way that technology enters the workforce, for example, if you work in, let's say, a warehouse and you have this headset on that's telling you the route to take, which package to take, exactly where to deliver it, and you don't have the freedom of choice, and you just have a very, very bad life in that case. We really need sport, we really need entertainment, we really need recreational drug use to make sure that people are sedated, and I think that that is indeed a trend that we will see more and more of in society, and indeed Village Farms and other cannabis producers will be there to fill that void. It's just a question of when, really. When will these companies become massively profitable and really, really shine like I know that they can? This is like airlines for Warren Buffett to me. I just love to follow along on this. I think one day for sure we will see profitability. It's just super, super hard to know when. When will the economics of scale hit from the growing, and the connection with the end user consumer be there to really have that value chain on lockdown and being able to deliver not only efficiency, as we saw Tilray butchered with their merger together with Afria. They did not deliver on that profitability, but also the ability to scale larger and easier. Now with the certain number of stores, it's very difficult to scale, and if this is somehow made easy to sell online, Amazon style, doing online delivery in a fast, easy, convenient way, well, then there's potential to scale there as well, and just a lot of potential, but not a lot of delivery. I'm not going to rant too much about this stock. It's just like any other cannabis company here. It's decent size, so it's not super threatened. We could take a look at the balance sheet as well to see how much debt is, but we see already that they're issuing new shares, so they're financing the operations with issuing new shares. They're not taking on a lot of debt then, would be my guess, without having looked at the balance sheet. Because you either finance by debt or you finance by raising new equity. And in a high interest rate environment, it just makes sense to raise more equity like the company is doing. So I'm not hating on them for that. But sooner or later, they can't just issue new shares. Then current owners will be diluted into infinity. So it's a race against time, and time is not on the investor's side on this case. They need to do something quickly, basically. That being said, as always, hope you guys make a ton of money, whatever investments you decide to make. Take care now. Bye bye.